Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Hybrid Warfare Analytical Group's UCMC's podcast, episode 5, where our analysts convene to delve into the realms of Russian disinformation, propaganda, and the influence of hybrid warfare in 2024. In episode 5, we're joined by HWAG Analyst Anton Khimiak, author of the analyst Does NATO Drills STEADFAST Defender-2024 Worry Russia? Anton, hello. Thank you for coming on the episode today. Before we get started, just a little bit of background. I'm hearing a lot at the moment from Ukrainian politicians, in particular, Eastern European, in regards to kind of the Baltics area politicians, talking about the emergence of a World War III, the likelihood that World War III is about to start, if it hasn't started already, that the West, in particular, NATO has got no time to prepare for World War III. Russia could attack at any moment. We're going to speak about this in the discussion today. This is kind of basically where we will focus the conversation. Anton wrote this article just a few weeks ago, and it kind of entails all the information around Steadfast Defender 2024, NATO's largest exercise since the Cold War, going on for a couple of months, still ongoing now. And with a focus on more of the Russian propaganda and the disinformation side of it, as always, as is our speciality. Anton, straight away, let's get into it. What narratives and arguments are the Kremlin and its media using to portray NATO's Steadfast Defender 2024 as a threat to Russia's security and regional stability?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for your questions. And to begin with, it is worth noting that most of these narratives we have already observed before about the previous drills of the alliance. There is a good article on Detector Media Resource with a historical overview by Mrs. Lesa Bidochko, so I advise you to read it to better understand the context of our material. So the first and most important message that Russian propagandists are trying to spread is a so-called horror story about escalation. At the governmental level, the Russians are trying to assure their and international audiences that these exercises are an act of aggression by NATO. So, as a result, the drills are portrayed as a preparation for war with Russia. You may have even seen the news headlines that Steadfast Defender 2024 is so-called dress rehearsal before the war against Russia. And to present the desire as actual, the Kremlin appeals to its classic argument about expansion of NATO to the east and the threat to the security of the Russian Federation in this way. Also, by developing the narrative of an aggressive NATO, Moscow is trying to appeal to the ordinary population of the West by artificially dividing the common people and the aggressive leadership of the alliance. This can be seen in the statements such as such large-scale military drills endanger the civilian population of European countries, but NATO and the United States do not care.
Tell us more about the Z Telegram channels. We focused a lot of our monitoring on monitoring these channels, monitoring the narratives and tracks which Russian propaganda is pushing through these Telegram channels. Tell me more about the influence the channels have on public opinion in Russia and about the country's military capabilities and its response to the perceived threats of the NATO exercises.
Russian Telegram channels are trying to spread controversial opinions in their classic manner. On the one hand, this is a message that these drills will not help NATO correct the neglected security situation, and on the other hand, there are calls to prepare for a potential confrontation with the alliance. These appeals are aimed at the same time at the military leadership of Russian Federation and the civilian population for its mobilization in the support of the Russian army. So this is a classic propaganda technique of mobilizing the masses in the face of war with a strong and dangerous enemy. In addition, Russian war journalists continue to spread crazy conspiracy theories about the participation of NATO officers in the Russian-Ukrainian war as a part of ongoing drills.
Anton, tell me more about these crazy conspiracy theories. What is one of the examples which you've observed?
Actually, one of the best examples is a threat to use nuclear weapons in the case of war, and Russian use nuclear weapons as the last ultimate argument in the propaganda. This helps to keep the Russian people calm because they are sure that even if a war starts, they will not lose it because of the red button option. Also, the stringent views of the European population against the authorities, the former president of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Medvedev, enters this scene to say, I quote, "Ballistic and cruise missiles with special warheads will be used to protect the territorial integrity of our country, and this is the same notorious apocalypse, the end of everything," end of quote. And these dramatic messages are direct intimidation and blackmailing of the European population to turn the people against their own military and political authority, and as a result weaken the capabilities of the alliance.
Anton, in the sphere of disinformation and Russian propaganda, you're one of the experts in Ukraine. What are you hearing? Because we're hearing a lot about Russia potentially attacking the EU. Basically what I said at the beginning of this podcast, in the near future, not enough time to prepare for it. What are your opinions from an expert point of view about this kind of analysis from these experts? Do you see any kind of narratives which would echo this or call for concern?
Actually, we have already observed that the most of Russia's provocation against NATO countries, especially in Baltic region, took place precisely during Russian military drills. In Kremlin propaganda, Russia often emphasized that the NATO drills themselves are a provocation, and states that they could be cause of provocations and ultimately escalation. So Russia could potentially use so large-scale military drills as a smokescreen for its own maneuvers or provocations, and Russia could exploit the focus of NATO forces on the drill to strategically redirect its own military forces or equipment to certain areas, especially in Baltic region, and potentially to carry out actions that may be viewed as provocative.